Hey, hello. Let me see. So, hey, friends, how are y'all? Welcome back to our weekly live stream. And what are we talking about today? Let's figure this out. So, I'm basically glad that you guys are all here and everything. I'm Corrine, and every Monday we go live to talk about what really matters when it comes to managing your business and everything. Hold on. Going crazy. So let's go right back into what we're talking about. So, like I said, I'm glad everyone's here. Definitely try to go live every Monday, if not once a week. We're trying to do this, trying to be consistent, and talk about managing your business finances, the things we do, the tips and tricks we do for our clients. So let's jump in. But actually, before we jump in, I just want to give a quick shout out because it's been very busy of every the few days over here. So my oldest just turned 16, and I'm now officially a mom of a 16-year-old. And today's also my little brother's birthday. Welcome to the 30 club. And of course, I hope all dads out there had a wonderful Father's Day weekend. Like, because, us mommies need us, our fathers, this daddies, right? So I hope you guys were able to enjoy it and have fun. But now let's get into the topic for tonight: how to spot fraud or errors in your business, finances, and listen, this one is super important. Whether you're handling your book solo or you have help, you need to know how to catch when something's off. And errors might be. And in fact, this is something small businesses, non-for-profits. I was just talking to somebody at the one of my family members that's also an accountant. We met up at Tropical Jerk the other day. We were just talking about the fraud that they're catching, and I'm going to talk how you can catch this. So errors might be innocent, but fraud that can cost you big time, money, time, even your reputation. So you want to catch this right away. So let's get into the signs and systems that can help you catch fraud or errors early on. This is what we were talking about the other day, cuz, right? So reconcile regularly. This is why I'm always saying reconcile your books. If your bank balance and bookkeeping software don't match up, especially over time, something's wrong. If it could be data entry mistake or something more serious like duplicate charges or unauthorized spending. So simply you can just have some charges that are being duplicated, or somebody probably could have definitely did some unauthorized charges or spending and you're not aware of. You also want to review vendor and payroll activity. Payroll is usually y'all know my story about payroll, but check if there are unusual vendors or unexpected increase in payments. For those of you using contracts and employees, watch out for duplicate invoices, ghost vendors, or inflated hours. This happens. There's plenty of times when there are vendors being paid out and they really don't even exist. Next is set up roles and permissions. If you have someone helping with your books or you're using staff, make sure they have the right level of access. Only give permissions. Only give permissions that match the task they need to do. So if you have an AR person, which is somebody that's in charge of your invoicing, they don't need to be in charge of the accounts payable. Like they can just focus on AR. And that's what I love about Intuit and many other softwares. You can just give them access to invoicing. Then if you have somebody that's taking care of the bank reconciliation, they don't need access to that. They can just get access just to bank recs and stuff like that. So you can set up the those different permissions. Next thing I like to talk about are audit trails are your friend. So most accounting software keeps a log of every action. Use that. It tells you who did what and when. A little digital detective works goes a long way. So my whole thing is I don't believe in let's share a password type of thing. Like, okay, we got 3 users for bookkeeping for whatever. Like QuickBooks might give you 3 users, and you're trying to save money, and you're just going to have 3 users, and then 2 people or 3 people might be sharing a user and login credentials. You don't want that, because now it's going to be everybody's pointing fingers at the other person and you don't know who it is. So with this audit trail, you're able to like see who did what and when they did it and how they did it. And it usually tracks like exactly everything they did. And then you can either go fix it, or you can find out why they did it. Like you already know who did it. And it's not like you don't even need to tell people you have audit trails. I don't really tell anyone, and I really don't even explain to people that I review it on a regular basis. That's something you need to review regularly. Like I like to review my audit trails almost weekly, and if I'm seeing anything going crazy, that's something where we'll go into daily. Like let's look at what's going on every day. Um, Next thing, trust but verify. Even if you trust your team, and I hope you do, checks and balances protect everyone. Have a second pair of eyes review reports, or do periodic spot checks. That's why here I do not like taking any of my clients that already have a tax accountant or a CPA. We're not going to say leave your CPA, leave your tax accountant, and we'll handle your bookkeeping plus tax. We rather take care of your bookkeeping and they take care of your tax, because it works both ways. Like we can both be checking on each other. Like it'll be checking balances for them and checking balances for us, and it keeps you covered. And at the same token, you're watching everybody. So you want to make sure you're setting something up like this. So before we go on, if you have any questions, please add it in the comments, or also send me your questions via email or in Instagram. You can DM us, or Facebook DM, YouTube, do it. You can send me a private message if you're not comfortable. But we do have some questions that did come in when we spoke about what the topic was for next week. First question is, what's the most common errors small business owners miss in their books? One of the most common is duplicate transactions, either from syncing issues or manual entries that can inflate expenses or income and throw off your reports. Reconciling your accounts monthly helps you catch those quickly. Okay. And I also want to say omitting of transactions, because that's another syncing issue. Sometimes you can sync your QuickBooks or your bank are syncing, and then there's a time when it's like goes out of whack or whatever, and now you probably are missing like a few days, months, depending on how long it was out of whack of transactions. And then when you resynced it, you probably did not go back to the day where it stopped working. So that's another way as well. So next question. How can I tell the difference between an error and an actual fraud? Errors tend to follow a pattern. Maybe it's always during manual entry or the same type of mistake. Fraud often shows up as a repeat intentional discrepancies, like rounding, splitting invoices, or money going to an unfamiliar account. So investigate anything that repeats and doesn't have a clear reason. Um, Always tell you, we were working with one of our clients, and all of a sudden there was like the thing that got caught our eye was it was payroll, and it was legitly like a an even number. I think it was I don't remember, but it was even. It wasn't, you know how payroll works. It's usually 9.49 and 89 cents. It's always like it's never going to be like you're never going to get like a straight number. So we noticed that right away. We're like, that doesn't make sense. And the next thing we kind of noticed was the check numbers were kind of out of whack from our payroll checks. So immediately we caught that, closed bank accounts. And then when they closed the bank account, we also suggested that maybe we should stop doing paper checks. Okay, maybe we should switch over to direct deposit, because what's happening when you're giving paper checks out, what is happening? I don't want to give people some. All right, anyway, so when you're giving out paper checks, this is why it's good to reach out to bills.com or even QuickBooks, any of these things that provide, and Melio, where they can print checks for you and send it to whoever you need to send to. Because what they do is a thing where they do not put your routing and they do not put your check number there, right? So when you're writing your own checks from your business, usually 9 out of 10, it has the routing and then it has the account number. So people are able to take that routing and account number and do illegal things with it. So you want to avoid that. And for us, we didn't even look into see who did it, because it could have been anybody. Like it could have been someone from the bank. It could have been someone in your family where you're writing a check. And then a lot of what's going on is a lot of people have these things where they you can take a picture of your check. And then some people keep their checks with them instead of like shredding them because I don't know what the fear is, but you keep your check around and then it's like around the house or something, and then or you're not throwing it or just getting rid of it properly, and now it has that. So you want to kind of, if you have payroll, do direct deposit. If you're paying people, use a check or use a credit card or ACH. But do not try to be going out there giving out your account number because then it turns into a hot mess. Okay, it turns into a lot. Hi, Salt the realtor. Hello, how are you? Okay, is it okay to let my assistant handle all the bookkeeping? That's the third question, y'all. You can delegate, but never fully disconnect. Always have a system in place where you review reports regularly and limit access so only the right people can make changes. Oversight is protection, not micromanaging. So another thing is when you're allowing your assistant to do the bookkeeping, you can also set up even in the bank account read-only access where they don't have the authority to write checks or do anything they can in your bank account. You just give them read-only access. That's the majority of what our clients do. We get read-only access. The only time we might go into their account and whatever is probably to help them set up a user account for us, but there's no need for all that. That's the protocol you want to do, is making sure whoever is handling any of your stuff that they can't do anything. Basically, it comes down to either you can do it for them or you sign off or something. But it's okay. You can make your assistant do your bookkeeping. If your if your assistant doesn't know how to do bookkeeping, um, you want to teach them how to do the bookkeeping. Um, you could always hire us to provide some accountability for her as well as your assistant. I'm saying her for them. If you need that's a service we offer, which is called Do It Yourselfish Bookkeeping Collective. So if you have an assistant and she's kind of like, we can help her. Like we can be an accountability partner for that person for the next. We try to make people graduate. We don't want you staying with us forever. Like so after like 2-3 months, we think it's time for you to start it on your own, right? So that's all the questions actually that I have today. I didn't see any. Let me check Instagram and Instagram, you guys are good. Let me check my comments elsewhere. There's no more comments. So the kids are happy because now they get me all to themselves. So if your number feels off or something just isn't sitting right with your books, pause and investigate. You don't need to panic, but you do need to act. If you need help putting systems in place to prevent fraud or errors, come talk to me. I got you. All I say is book a discovery call. There is no need for you to like, yeah, I want to sign up right now. Book the discovery call. I always like that first anyway. Because I want to make sure I'm a good fit for you and you're a good fit for our business, our company. So we want to see if we mesh. And then also, what I always say is send all your questions because treat this as if you just paid me $1,000 and you want the best of the best of a discovery call. So send your questions prior. Hey, Deja's World. Send your questions prior to the discovery call, and I will definitely, like I said, get back. I will make sure I do a nice PowerPoint presentation. We'll answer all your questions and take advantage of that. Okay. So if this was helpful, share this with your fellow mompreneurs, business owners who need to hear it. And don't forget to follow for more every Monday at 7 p.m. I'm trying to stick to Monday, y'all. Four kids. I'm gonna try to stick to Monday. I just left Girl Scouts a little bit earlier, and I'm getting darted eyes at me right now. She's like, "Why are we leaving early? I didn't get my face painted." So, but I'm gonna try to stick to Mondays. But give me grace. But I'm gonna be here weekly if I can. So have a good one, everyone. Enjoy your week. I hope it's productive. I hope it's profitable. And I hope you are doing great. Thank you.